Wow, guys. Just wow. All right. Now I'm starting to see what people are talking about with Chainsaw Man greatness. This is the first episode where I've heard people talk this show up, and I've thought to myself that, yeah, I see it. I see it. This was it right here. This is by far the best episode of the show so far, right? Like, is there really an argument otherwise? Because this episode is great. If the show keeps on this path going forward, I am here for it, and I might start buying into this hype a bit more, because this episode was fantastic. Himeno really went out like that. That quick. She really went out like that quickly, huh? And in that way. That's insane. That's insane to me, guys. Just wow. We got a lot to talk about today. So let's just get straight into it and talk about Chainsaw Man episode 8 today, because this was it. So our episode begins immediately where our last one left off. If anything, even a little before, as we get a retelling of what happens when Himeno brings Denji to her place. And it's kind of wild, man. You know, because at the end of the episode, she really paints a picture like, oh, what? How'd you get in here? But this episode really showcased that, no, that was completely deliberate. She did this intentionally, knowing full well what she was doing and playing it up. I'd be so happy for Denji in this situation if I know she wasn't trying to manipulate him. And she's doing a hell of a job, I'll admit that. Because what's Denji supposed to do in this situation, dude? What is he supposed to do? She's literally putting that thing on him. Like, what can he do? A man like Denji, who's had nothing his whole life, just suddenly has women thrown at him. Like, of course he's gonna act this way. What the hell? I think one of the funniest moments in this scene is when she whispers in his ear, let's do it. And Denji, our poor, clueless, naive Denji, just sits there like, do what? Like, oh man, he doesn't know what he's getting into. He doesn't know what she's trying to do. And it's hilarious. And they almost do it. But he remembers at the last second, Makima. Because as Himeno is stripping him, she actually finds a lollipop in his pocket, a Chupa Chups, and we get a flashback to him and Makima. Because earlier that night, Denji was sick as hell. After that experience, who wouldn't be? And of course, Makima tells him, go outside, get some fresh air. And while he's out there, she says that, I got some nausea medicine for you. Take it when you go to bed, along with some water. Denji's kind of crushed, though, because he tells her that, my first kiss turned out really shitty. And that's really an understatement. As he says that even if I kiss a bunch of girls from now on, am I gonna remember the taste of puke every time? That would be traumatic. And it's here that Makima just yet again does some really wild shit and literally takes her lollipop and puts it in his mouth. She tells him, I doubt you'll ever forget how that puke tasted. But it's okay, because until you die, you're going to experience a lot of new things. So you won't have time to think about vomit. And as for your first indirect kiss, looks like it's going to taste like cola-flavored Chupa Chups. As we see that Denji decided not to sleep with Himeno right here, because he's still so stuck on Makima. As he says, sorry Pochita, you probably wanted to score, but I want my first time to be with Miss Makima. So until I kill the gun devil, he's not going to sleep with anyone. Which is kind of wild, because he's had a ton of women throw themselves at him. But it's all manipulative. And guys, there's such a small part of me. I really want Makima to be like genuine with him, with how she treats him. I really, truly want that to be genuine. But I just can't believe it. I can't. She is the shadiest person in this show by far, but there's such a small part of me that really just wants to believe that it's genuine for Denji, man. I don't know. I don't know right now. And as we transition to the next morning, the morning after, we see Denji just sleeping on the floor as Himeno looks over him and says, hey, want some breakfast? And it's here we transition to arguably one of the most awkward breakfasts I think I've ever seen. As Himeno says that Denji, I was so drunk last night I blacked out. I didn't take advantage of you last night, did I? I don't know. I love Denji's response as he says, "You think I want a piece of some puke, lady?" My first time's gonna be with Miss Makima. And I don't know if it's just me, but Himeno looks a little heated right here. She looks a little irritated as she says, "Oh, well, that's a relief then." And it's here she tells him that you're an odd one, Denji. Most people would feel too awkward to eat after something like that. True. But Denji's just like, yo, who the hell would turn down some free food? Also true. But it's here we start getting into the real crux of why she's doing this, as she asks him, "So, you like Miss Makima too, right, Denji?" He says, "I super like her." But she asks him, would you still like her if her personality was shitty? And Denji just says, yeah, I'd like the shit out of her then. He just like really genuinely likes her. As Himeno tells him, perfect then, I'm gonna get the two of you together. And Denji's souped hearing that, like, yo, for real? As Himeno tells him that, I propose we form a secret alliance, Denji. I'm gonna help you get together with Makima, so you help me get with Aki, the real reason she brought him here. And our boy Denji's just like, alright, you're on. I'll take you up on that. As she says, so starting today, we're not just co-workers, but friends. That line hurts when you know what happens. Oh, man. And it's here we transition to Makima on the train because she's still heading to Kyoto like she was in our previous episode. As she says that, I hate meeting the Kyoto bigwigs. They're so intimidating. Which, I can't really see her being intimidated, but whatever. As she thinks to herself that a meal is better when you get to relax. Last night's drinks were very good. And I want it to be genuine so bad. I really do, but I just can't. There's a part of me that's like, nah, don't fall for it. Oh, I want it so bad, though. But it's here, we get an absolutely wild scene. As we're just focused on her the whole time, you know? We just are focused on her watching the train. But all of a sudden, we see people from in front and behind her dip their head down. And you see bags, you hear bags opening. And then all of a sudden, boom, she gets shot in the fucking head. As we just see her lying there dead. And I'm just like, what? There's no way they kill Makima like this. There's no way. And it's here we transition to seeing a bunch of devil hunters just going around town doing their duties. You know, we see Denji and the crew sitting and eating lunch. We see Kobini and Arai going around doing their duties. We see a bunch of other investigators going around doing their jobs. And wild shit happens. It's here we see a bunch of civilians pulling guns out that they shouldn't even have, because in our previous episode they said that they put severe limits on guns to prevent the gun devil from getting stronger. As we see all these civilians pulling guns out and supposedly gun down all the devil hunters. Everyone. Kobini and Arai get shot. The other investigators do. It's crazy. This is a coordinated attack. And it's here we transition back to Denji and his group, and they hear the shots, but they think it's something else. As Power asks Himeno, like, you two really didn't mate last night, huh? As Himeno says, you know, Denji's more of a gentleman than you think he is. But it's here all of a sudden that we just hear someone else talking as they say, I'm amazed you can eat the ramen at this joint. The taste don't bug you, as we see that someone off in the corner is talking to them. As Denji tells him, yeah, man, it tastes good to me. And he replies that, I guess you can't tell good from bad when it comes to food. Figures, though, you eat crap from an early age, you're bound to have bad taste when you're grown. Hard to be happy with bad taste, too. As this guy actually just kind of starts monologuing to them, which is kind of weird, saying how, you know, my granddad was the sweetest guy in the world. Took me to fancy places with really good food. He was a Yakuza, but he was a really good guy. He was like a necessary evil. That's what they would have called him. Only ever killed a handful of women and children. Like, this is a wild conversation all of a sudden. Used to spoil me rotten from the money he made from dealing. Everybody loved him. He was the real motto of a Tokyoite. You loved him too, didn't you, Denji? As he takes the photo out, and it's the guy that was raising Denji his whole life. Like, using him from our first episode. This is his grandchild. Denji gets heated seeing this, like, what the fuck do you want? As he says, I hear the gun devils after your heart. As he literally pulls a gun out and shoots Denji in the head and starts popping off. It's crazy. Shit goes from 0 to 100 like that. And Power quickly sucker punches the shit out of him. As Aki quickly calls Cone to attack him. And as he's surveying the scene, shit is not good. Denji's down, like he's shot in the head. Himeno's off to the side. She got shot in the shoulder. Everything is not good. As Cone tells him, Aki Hayakawa, you certainly put something outrageous in my mouth this time. Neither human nor devil. As we see him just bust out of Cone's head through his eye. As we see that this guy is a devil too, who looks a lot like Chainsaw Man. And what I remember hearing, this is the Katana Devil, which is wild. And Aki, without hesitation, draws his sword this time. Like, shit is real. And they start fighting, and it really looks like Aki has the upper hand as he stabs into him, and we just hear 3. Stabs him a second time, and we hear 2. Stabs him a third time, and we just hear 1. As Aki says, curse, finish him. As we just hear 0. And this scene is wild, as it looks like the curse of this sword literally picks him up and like consumes him, like crucifies him basically. It's insane visually. And since this devil looks dead, Aki takes the time to be like, hey, how's Himeno? As Power tells him that she needs a doctor pretty bad. And it's here Aki realizes that he had a gun. It should be impossible for anybody but the police or devil hunters to get them in Japan. Because again, like I said, they cracked down on this to weaken the gun devil. So the fact that all these people have guns is kind of crazy. But it's here he remembers what he says as he hears, I hear the gun devils after your heart. That's a scary thought. But it's here all of a sudden we just hear the curse devil. As we just see this girl appear behind him and says, I guess getting hit by that nail enough times means you die? You've got some pretty good moves. Aki is shook in this moment. Like, where did you come from? Are you working with him? As she actually brings the Katana Devil back to life. That's terrifying. As she asks him, you know why you lost? As he says that I underestimated him, like, real bad. As she says, you better kill him this time then. And it's here that shit gets really serious as he gets behind Aki without him even realizing it and puts a deep gash in his chest. Even Power is shook. As the girl says that he's still alive, you know. Those devil hunter suits are pretty sturdy. Finish him off. As we actually transition to Himeno that says that, yo, don't worry about me. Go help Aki right now. But even Power's like, I can't do that. I couldn't even follow his movements. Himeno actually asks Ghost for help, her devil, but even Ghost is like, no, that girl is dreadful. She's a problem. And it's here Himeno realizes that this is a do or die moment right now. This decides everything, as she tells Ghost, I'll give you all I've got, so give me everything you've got. As we just see all these hands starting to form and crawl out, and as the Katana Devil turns around, it's actually kind of horrifying what Ghost has become. As we hear Himeno say that Aki can cry. Most devil hunters see so many people around them die. So often, their tears run dry. But Aki cries so easily. I used to think it was funny how he would cry in private after the rookies he was looking after died. Having someone care for you enough to cry like that must be nice, as we see that Himeno's arm disappears. And it's here we see Ghost corner the Katana Devil, about to take it out. As Himeno says, don't die on me, Aki, as we see that her limbs keep disappearing one after another. So that when I die, you can cry for me. As we just hear Snake swallow it whole. As we see a giant snake pop up and literally devour the Ghost Devil in half. And as this girl recalls the snake, we just see Ghost's head falling. And Azaki looks over horrified at where Himeno was. We see that she's completely gone. And our episode ends. Just, what an insane episode. I can't believe it. I would argue this is peak. This is actually peak. I don't like using that word that often. Y'all know that, but this is incredible. If this series can continue this moving forward, I completely understand the hype for this show. This episode was absolutely incredible. Everything went wrong. Himeno really is gone. She's gone like that. We just got introduced to her, and she's gone. That's crazy. This show is crazy, dude. I love this series. I love this series so much. This is arguably one of the hardest times I've had to fight not to go read the manga, because I've desperately tried not to for this show. I want to be genuine in these videos. I do. I don't want to have future knowledge, because I know you guys like that too. You like seeing someone who doesn't know what's going to happen freak out. And this was insane. This was insane. This is greatness. I believe that. You guys let me know what you thought down below. I can't believe they got rid of Himeno that quickly. I can't believe it. That's insane to me. We just got introduced to her. So much for that fucking deal she made with Denji, huh? So much for that! This is crazy. Like, where do we go from here? Like, Denji has to get up and fight, right? There's no way. Like, how are they getting out of this? He has to get up and fight the Katana Devil. There's no other way around this. I can't think of anything. This is insane. You guys let me know what you think. I already know people are popping off today. I'm popping off. This shit was crazy. And I can't wait till next episode. So, until next time, guys, just fucking crazy. Wow. I hope you guys have a great day, week, month, and year. And I'm ready for more Chainsaw Man greatness. Next Tuesday can't come soon enough. So until then, I hope you guys have a great day. Deuces. Actually, before I end it, I'm tacking this on at the end. That ending song is incredible. Incredible. I loved it. It's so bittersweet, though. It's so bittersweet to see that. And they did that intentionally. You know that. That they focused the ending theme on Himeno. It's so bittersweet, but it's such a good ending, too. I had to mention that to you guys because it's so good. All right, now this really is the end. I'll see you guys later.